I get online today, and what do you think the first thing is that I wind up seeing when I get online? New York Times going all out again about the whole Syria's using chemical weapons. So I look at this and I remember, yeah, okay, and last I knew, it was the foreign CIA backed and connected terrorists that are trying to force regime change that were the ones that had supposedly already used chemical weapons. And now they're trying to backspin, suggesting that maybe no, that it's the Assad regime. Come on. One of the things presented is because Israel says so. Really? Need I remind people about the Lavon Affair, the USS Liberty, the nuclear secrets that were, yeah. I don't get it. People, really. Just because Israel supposedly, no. They're going to find out that chemical weapons were used because the rebels, which are foreign terrorists, have used them. So of course they're going to find evidence that they were used. All this stuff just, Israel chomping at the bit, a bomb you gives the red line. Now all of a sudden, supposedly, we're back to the Assad regime is using them. I mean, that really does potentially give good old Bomnia and the radical Talmudist in control, the open door if the people buy it, doesn't it? How soon we forget. Then we had the whole thing with the Muslim radicals from Chechnya with the bombing. They pushed that first, and then then it was countered with the whole the brothers were mostly raised in the USA, and then it's just self-radicalization, but nobody wants to talk about how the overall situation and failures of government is in itself radicalizing its own people because of their total shitting all over the Constitution and people's civil liberties and civil rights. Nothing about their incompetencies in what they're doing and how that's radicalizing people because they're turning this country into something that we were never taught it was. At least us older generations. Turning it into something that some of us were willing to give our lives and potentially die for because we're vets. They're not going to talk about it either because then that would shed light on the people that are behind it and really are in control. And it's about failed stewardship of power. And they bow to their radical Talmudist handlers instead of doing what's right for the people. But I mean, all this plays, it all plays in. The gun grab, this stuff with Russia, and I can see the reason why they try to vilify Russia with this Chechen connection and back to the Islamophobia card, because if you know anything about the radical Talmudists, if you've done any research, and you look at their role in the Bolshevik Uprising and the 20 to 80 million Christians that were slaughtered that gives you a little bit of an idea of their extreme hatred of Christians. So when you look at that and then you take into consideration the idea that Putin has been pushing for a Russian return to Orthodox Christianity, it shows a definite potential where the radical Talmudists that orchestrated the whole uprising in Russia and the communism that was later there and then enforced it yet, it would seem that quite possibly they've lost control of Russia. So by bringing the Chechen question into being, it gives them something to jump back to, even if they don't use it at this point, because they come back later and say, oh yeah, totally flip the script, change the story to where, yeah, there was a Russian connection. It wasn't just coincidental, hell, they had backing, whatever. And it could be any number of different excuses that they'll use in order to vilify Russia. So that in that way, it's an excuse to get involved there yet and give the radical Talmudists an excuse to create an intervention there that helps get Russia back under their control, which obviously Putin was able to somehow, through some means, pull from them. Because again, anybody that knows them and knows their MO and realizes the slaughter of Christians at their hands, you know how much they hate Christianity and they hate Christians. And there's just no way Putin would have been able to, start directing things back towards Orthodox Christianity if they were still in control there. So, and it seems like they might be losing control in other areas too, because the Brits just had a case where they have found that to be anti-Zionist is not anti-Semitic, and that is big because it's correct. Zionist, it's a political ideology. It is not a religion, and it is not Jewish. You do not have to be Jewish in order to be a Zionist. You do not have to practice Judaism in order to be a Zionist. It's political. It's not a racial thing. So there's no anti-Semitism involved. Unfortunately, there's a lot of ignorant people that automatically assume if you are against the political ideologies of Zionism and what it's creating for Palestinians and the danger that it's presenting for some Israelis and Jewish people as well, that you're anti-Semitic, and that's just asinine. And it's chosen stupidity, because if they did a little bit of research into it, they would understand there is a very real difference. However, unfortunately, most do not realize that. So, this whole bullshit in Syria, I still say, they've got all of this stuff now. You've got the connections with Chechens, which leaves a potential Russian option. Then you got this stuff with Syria. You got the whole Iran stuff. The North Korea, which has suddenly just gone where? Come on. They were going to go ahead and, launch a nuke our way. Shit. Pretty sunny here at this point in time. I haven't heard of a nuke hitting us anywhere. So, again, obviously, bullshit, media spin. And again, it's because of what's in control. It's because it's not the government, people. It's just not. Yeah, those are puppets, but it's not really the government. There's something that's much above that. So, just some things that I wanted to go ahead and get into and try to cut up with the past a little bit. Things for people to think about. This stuff with Syria, really. I'm going to drop some links for you to look at. Do your research. Look into it. There will be links there to show that the rebels are the ones that have done that. There will be an extensive piece from The Guardian that goes into the reason why some of the stuff coming out of Syria may not be exactly credible, given the sources. And there'll be a few other links in there for you guys to look at that backs up what I'm saying. So, anyways, just something for you guys to think about again. Drop your conditioning.